Now we're looking at chef knives. This is the most important knife decision you're going to make as far as your knives go, because you're going to have to get one of these. Here's a traditional European style. This is a 9-inch, which is kind of a weird size, but this one served me very, very well for the last 10 years or so. 9-inch chef's knife. It's going to have your traditional, very gradual curve here. It's going to have an almost straight back till you get to here, and it's going to taper off. And very solid bolster, very nice long blade designed for cutting. This is kind of this is what most of the time you're going to see. I also showed you a couple of alternatives that I also brought a couple of other alternatives I wanted to show you. So here we have, this is what they call a Santoku knife, or Santuko, depending on who you talk to or how it's spelled on the package. This knife, you'll notice in comparison to this one, the blade is completely different. Whereas this one is curved on the bottom and fairly straight on the top, this one is curved on the top and fairly straight on the bottom. This is kind of becoming the new standard for most chef knives. It's obviously the non-European standard. The advantage to these is that you get less rocking motion and you get more of a blade to cutting board contact along this edge, as opposed to this knife, where you see its contact edge stops here and you have to rock it, as opposed to this knife where its contact edge doesn't stop till up here and you don't really have to rock it nearly as much. You can see this just a little bit. You'll also notice this knife has the scalloped handle, or scalloped blade rather, and what that means is that there's little pockets that air will actually get stuck in these as you're slicing and kind of help to keep stuff from sticking to the blade, like cheeses or meats, for example. This is a different take on the Santoku knife. You'll see this one is almost completely straight. The difference on this one is you'll see that on this we have a nice flat edge here on the corner, where on this one we have a nice curved edge down here. So what that means is that this knife has a little more rock to it. Right here it's got a little belly in the knife, and what that means is that this, for all effective purposes, is kind of, it's all the good parts of this as far as longer cutting surface and actual utility of the blade with the scalloped edge, but it has the advantage of this in the fact that you can cut all the way down to the tang, like this, where it just kind of stops. This also does have a unique handle on it that facilitates grabbing it differently, but that's just by design of this particular blade. So let's move on now to our other knives.